I haven't gone. Hi everyone, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Women That Shred. Nothing like just, hopping right in. Yeah, no, I'm starting to realize that like my vision's just a little bit like
Uh-oh.
I'm turning 48 this year, so everyone says that like this is the age.
So I just got bifocals for the first time like a month ago, and I am still struggling with how to use them. I'm not enjoying this midlife thing that I'm going through, but it is what it is. So we're just going to go with it, right?
Welcome, Leora.
Isn't this how they always start with the two of us? We just go right into it, right?
Yeah, just go right into it. How are you?
I am hanging in there. I'm not going to lie. Things are tough right now, and I know I'm not alone. And I do take some comfort in that, but comfort doesn't pay the bills. So I'm open to work. We're just going to start this conversation with that. I'm Leora Ruzin. If you don't know me, where have you been for the last 10 years? And I've been in the mortgage biz for a long time, and I've been one of many who have suffered through layoffs over the last year. Unfortunately for me, I was laid off right before Christmas, and so that was really tough. And so I just first of all, not to get off topic here, but I saw that I have the green circle. I'm not ashamed to have a green circle. I'm open to work. You have a purple circle, which means you're hiring. Maybe we need to talk.
Loan officers. Yeah, I know we're in the region in San Diego. If you're a loan officer here in San Diego or Temecula.
But it got me thinking, have you ever been going to like a concert or a football game, and you're walking up to the stadium with your tickets that you've purchased, and you got a guy on one side of the street that says, "I'm selling tickets." And then you keep going down the road and you see another guy that says, "I need tickets." And I'm like,
yeah.
There's a guy about a block back. So for those that are open to work, the green circles, look for the folks with the purple circles, and maybe you two should talk.
I know. Isn't that you know what they should do? LinkedIn should have some kind of like system to where anybody that has a purple circle to somehow automatically, like if they know that they're in the same industry, get them connected with the green circle.
or something. I've been looking for a ton of jobs, and what's interesting on LinkedIn is when you're looking for certain roles, it'll tell you connections you have that have connections to the hiring team at the company you're applying for. And so that seems to be relatively new, unless I've been under a rock for a while.
I didn't know about that.
And it's interesting because if you can find those connections, you might be able to phone a friend or reach out to someone and being like, I'm interested in this company, and I see that you have a connection with someone on the hiring team. Do you think you could put in a good word for me? Or actually, what do you think about this company? Do you think I'm barking up the right tree or the wrong tree with this company? So I found that to be really helpful. I've been using that a lot over the last week as I've been looking for jobs. Sorry, Goose wants to be in the.
No. It's all good. But I mean, the whole topic of this show is like how to stay positive. Like, so how are you staying positive and keeping such a kind of great mindset, if you will?
Well,
or at least you're trained that you are.
Fake it till you make it. I'm totally kidding. No, it's important to stay positive and have a good mental mindset when you're trying to find a job, because if you're in a bad place when you're applying for jobs or when you're reaching out to people, they're going to feel it, they're going to see it, they're going to hear it. And so really the first thing that I did when I lost my job is I grieved. I had only been there for a few months, but there was a lot of potential opportunity for me. And like a lot of other people, I had no idea that it was coming. And so it was a shock. And for it happening right before Christmas, it just made it even worse. And unfortunately, I wasn't financially prepared to take a layoff. And so it's hard to stay. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard to stay positive and happy when the bills are piling up, the rent is due, and life continues to happen. And so for me, I'm not gonna lie, for the first week leading up to Christmas, I was in a bad place. Um, and I probably vocalized it on social, which I probably shouldn't have done, but it was cathartic for me and therapeutic for me. And I've never been one to shy away from what's going on in my life, whether it's good or bad. And I think it's important for people to go through that grieving process because it is a loss. It's not like losing a loved one or anything like that, but it is still the loss of something that you had in your life that was supposed to be a stable part of your life, and now you're in an unstable place. So I allowed myself my pity party, right?
Mhm.
And then I got back on it. And so what I've tried to do, and I'm still working on it, is getting up at a reasonable hour,
Okay. Oh, no, that's good.
um,
That's good. Yeah. Not
and,
staying in
and
bed.
trying to stay in some kind of routine, whatever that might look like. And for me, it's been reaching out to my tribe, my people that knows what I really truly bring to the table and what I have to offer, and helping me through this. And so I have some amazing people who constantly are looking for opportunities for me. And I just want to make sure that they are all aware, if you're watching, that I'm very grateful that everyone's been keeping me in mind as they have opportunities that they see come over. And if you're in a negative place, people may be less apt to do that for you because they might be putting themselves on the hook by offering a job to you from a friend, and they don't want that to go poorly for them because that would reflect poorly on them. So it's important to be mindful of that when those opportunities come over.
Right. I was going to ask you because you had mentioned that, you were very vocal, in the beginning on social media about everything. How did people react? I'm curious because, we all talk about how it's important to put ourselves out there and to, be honest and vulnerable. But a lot of times, like when you do that, I'm curious as to how people reacted.
So I posted it on LinkedIn and I also posted it on Facebook. It was just my perception on where the industry currently is
Hmm.
and how there appears to be just a lack of loyalty.
Mm.
And then also, if you're an employer looking for people, don't leave them hanging after an interview, and just close the loop because I think that's fair. If someone invested in applying at your company and they've gone through the maybe one or two or three interviews, that's a hot lead for them. That's an opportunity they're still interested in. And if you're no longer interested in that candidate, it's only the respectful thing to do to close the loop and tell them that for whatever reason, they're not moving forward with you. And for me, I've always appreciated candid feedback on why I wasn't selected. Was it an internal candidate? Did I not have a level of experience they required? Is it because I can't move? Whatever the case may be. But a lot of employers won't take the time to even tell you why. They are just saying, we're not moving forward. So those were some of the things that I said in my article, and most people appreciated the transparency. But I did have one particular person who is a family member reach out to me personally and says, "No one's going to hire you if they read that because it just seems like all you're doing is complaining." I'm like, I guess I could see it that way, but this is the reality for many people, and these are things that most people are thinking. They just don't know how to articulate it, and I feel that it's my responsibility as an influencer in our business to be able to be that voice for other people who don't know how to speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm not I don't feel bad because I'm okay now. This was my emotional dump, and now I'm
Yeah.
moving forward. So,
No, but you have a point there with what you just said, like a lot of times it's what a lot of people are thinking. They just, are not saying it. And I think the only way to make that change in the industry or have employers be a little bit more sensitive to people that are applying is to voice it. And who's to say that there's employers that read that and are like, you know what, she has a point,
right?
so you never know.
Yeah. And the other thing that's been difficult, and I know a lot of people are in this same boat, is for those of us who've been in the industry for a very long time, it's hard to pivot. It's hard to sit down and really look and say, do I want to continue being a loan officer? Do I want to continue being a processing manager or an underwriter? And if not, how do I shift? How do I shift to maybe not just a different part of the industry or leaving the industry altogether? So I'm applying for jobs here in my local community because I cannot move. That is just a non-negotiable for me. I either need to work where I live or be able to work remote. And so I'm applying at hospitals. I'm applying at the local, county. I'm doing everything I can to, because I think I have skills that are transferable to any industry. So how do you get employers to look past the industry and look at the skills themselves and say, you know what, she's right. It doesn't take long to learn this part of the job, but she's got everything else: project management, people management, product development, all of those things that are in any industry. So what's been difficult for me is trying to get employers to look past that. And then also I have to be mindful of the fact that I'm in my 40s and ageism is still a thing. So how do you get past that? And so for me, staying positive is really just number one, being true to myself and being honest with myself and understanding the reality of our current market, our current industry, and being open to trying new things. They say that growth happens when you step outside of your comfort zone. And that's hard to do when you're 45 and have been the primary wage earner in your family for the last 16 years. And so I'm stepping out and trying to write full time. So that's
You're
what I'm
a writer. I mean, I'm all for that. I'm like cheering you on with the writing. I feel like that could be something that you don't even realize where it could take you.
Yeah. So if anyone's out there that needs someone who can write blogs, white papers, thought leadership, policies, procedures, I'm your gal. I got you. But that's the thing. Sometimes when you're in this position, you need to sit down and go like, okay, this last job I had while I lost it, was I really happy? Was it bringing me joy? And then start writing down like if it wasn't bringing you joy or making you happy, this could be that opportunity for you to really do something different.
Yeah.
Do something that you've been wanting to do, but can be kind of scary if you start it. But it's also exciting, and I'm re-energized because the golden opportunity might come my way and I might take it, but I really want to see if I can make this happen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm of the mindset of like, you just never know when this could have been like the best thing for you. Like it's so hard to see that in a moment, but I feel like just like you said with your writing, like that could be something that could take you on a completely different path.
You know,
Yeah,
it's
and I do
exciting.
love.
It's scary because
Yeah,
I mean, I would be technically running my own business, right? I'd be self-employed, and that's scary. I'm like, God, I need health insurance. How do I pay
yeah,
my taxes? Like, there's all these other things I have to consider, but it's also exciting because I can write my own story. I can determine my destiny and my future. So
yeah.
I
I
like it.
mean,
It's
you just said you're 45, so I'm gonna be 48 this year, and I just realized that when I went out on my own January 2020, I was 40. I was turning 45 that year, and it was 2 years out on my own, but I learned so much, and it is hard. I mean, having your own business and all of that, it's not easy. But I will have to say that I learned so much about myself, and I feel like I grew so much that even though I came back into the industry, like it just opened my world in a way where I feel like the what I'm bringing to the table now is so much more and better because I did go out on my own, even if it was just for 2 years. So I feel like even for you, like who's to say going out on your own for just a short period of time could even open up so much more for you. So I don't know.
sure.
I'm kind of like just do it. I mean, look at Delilah. She ended up out on her own, and she says it's the best thing that she could have ever done as well. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of exciting. So,
I'm excited, and I'm hopeful by going down this path, it'll open up other opportunities for me to speak more. That's
yeah,
something that I want to do. Is actually get more speaking engagements. So I'm hoping that this will open those doors for me as well. But just getting back to staying positive during this time, it really is when you're starting to feel those moments when you're sad. number one, you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge how you're feeling because those feelings are real. It's scary and you're in an uncertain time and an uncertain place. So you need to be able to process those feelings, but don't stay there too long because it's a slippery slope into depression. And I know a lot of people can attest to that. I fight it every day. Every day I fight it at some point. And it's hard not to even get emotional now when I think about it. So acknowledge those feelings, but then think about there's I posted something else on Facebook when it was 2 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't sleep. And I was like, there has got to be more to life than this. There has to, like, we are just one speck in a vast universe. And I'm worrying about if I can pay my power bill. Like, what is it all for? So I was having a very deep
Existential moment.
existential moment, I guess you could say, while I was doing my diamond paintings. If anyone does diamond paintings, what's up? Do you know what those are? They're
No.
like paint by numbers, but with little gems. Anyway, it's a great time killer and it's good for people with anxiety. Anyway, so it's like 2 a.m. and I'm doing my dot painting and I'm like, what is life all about? But I don't know. Sometimes you just have to step back and look at the people you love, look at your family, look at the things that do bring you joy and lean into those. Whether it's reading, um, doing the self-help stuff, running, walking, staying active. Maybe you've always wanted to try cooking. Get into things that keep you active and keep your brain working, and give you moments where you're feeling pure joy and you're not thinking about this cloud that's hanging over you. And where
Yeah.
am I going to find my next job?
Yeah.
Because it really, at the end of the day, like, we're all on a path towards whatever's after our life, whatever that might be for you. And time is short, life is short, and it's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. Like,
Yeah.
there's
No, and I kind of know, and I've been feeling a lot of that recently as well, just moving back to San Diego after 23 years of being in Virginia. But the fact that I'm living with my mom has completely changed my perspective on life in so many different ways. Like, I've even, with LinkedIn, I've stepped back on even posting on here because I'm kind of like, I don't care. Like, once again, like, what is the point? Like, for me personally, like, I'm helping our loan officers with their social media, but for me, like, I'm not trying to sell anything
right.
you know what I mean? So it's like I've stepped back and I've had those moments with my mom where I'm like, this is what it's about. Like, I'm enjoying my time on this earth with my mom because I don't know how much longer I have with her. And I'm
Right.
enjoying building a relationship with her when I didn't really have a relationship, like a very close knit relationship with her growing up. So it's like I'm looking at that. Like, last night I came home and she had some of her closest friends. They're all in their 70s. I sat down, put my phone away, and I just listened to their stories, drinking a glass of wine with them. And I had one of those moments of like, this is what it's about. Like,
Yeah.
everything else, like, who cares? Like, being able to have this experience and have that
Oh,
connection. And yeah,
yeah.
so that's where I'm kind of like, that's where I'm at in my life too. The same thing of like, what is this for? Like, why are we so stressed out about certain things that really, at the end of the day, do they really matter? you know?
I mean, and I don't want to be one of those people that says, I hate all employers, because I don't. Like, I don't.
I love my employer, just saying.
well, well, right now I don't have one, so whatever. But it is a hard truth that everybody is replaceable, and that sucks. And there's some industries where you feel it more than others. And I'm going to admit the mortgage industry hasn't been great at dealing with the ebbs and flows in the market.
Yeah.
And so it's this constant cycle of applying human spackle to a problem. Oh, we've got more volume than we know what to do with. We'll hire people, and then we'll just get rid of them when volume drops. There's got to be a different way that, as an industry, we can tackle the ebbs and flows of the market without hurting people, while still maintaining a bottom line. And there's some companies that have done it very well, that have dealt with little to no fallout from the reduction in the market. But there's companies out there that consistently, when the market turns, they're going to let people go. So is it a matter of taking technology and getting AI and getting machine learning and getting that tech up and going so you can still have the people, But then the tech can fill in when there's, an increase or an influx in volume. Um, but it's unfortunate, and there's got to be a different way. There's got to be a better way where, as an industry, we can take care of the people that make this industry run.
Right.
So that, that's my soapbox. I could be on that soapbox all day, but that's what's most frustrating for me is there is this perception, this lack of loyalty. We as employees, do everything we can to put our best foot forward, and at the end of the day, doesn't matter. So, I mean, that's the reality. I'm
It's
just trying to
I mean
be
that
here.
is the reality. Like we're not sitting here trying to like create this fairy tale of like what life's all about. It's the reality of things. And Amy just like popped on. Hi, Amy. And I was just thinking, like people like yourself, like myself, Amy, just so many people that have been on this show and have supported this, and just the women in general. Like the more of us that are out there, vocal, sharing, like that's how it's hopefully going to get better, right? Like we're people like ourselves that we do have compassion, empathy for people, and we do want to make things better. And so hopefully it's just kind of like that movement of just at some point changing the way things are done. I mean, that's where
Yeah,
that's
and I
what
think
I'm
if
looking
it, it
for.
it takes one, it's like it takes one ripple in the pond, right?
Yeah,
It takes one person to voice something, and if more people grab onto it, then it creates a wave. Um,
yeah,
so again, I say the things that people think, and I'm not the only one who said it. I've seen lots of people come out over the last several weeks saying, where is the loyalty? I want to give my all to the next company I work for,
yeah,
because that's just who I am as a person. I am a get it done person. I am a change agent. When people work with me, they know that. Give me a project, I'm going to make it happen. But is the company I'm going to work for, who I'm going to, give my blood, sweat, and tears to, going to, reciprocate when the chips are down, when, like, if I go through something in my life and I might need a little bit of time off, or if I need to be able to work remote or have a hybrid schedule. It's like a relationship. You have to compromise. Um, there has to be a commitment on both sides. So we got to find a way to make it happen. We got to find a way to change the narrative in this business, because it's such a crucial part of who we are as a country. We are the backbone of the economy, and we got to take better care of our people.
yeah. Especially we know when it's a cyclical industry. I mean, the business is so cyclical that you would think by this point we would
We'd have figured it out by
have
now.
figured
Yeah,
like this is
and
a really down like this is one of many downturns, right? Like I
yeah,
was
and
you
it's
know
not like we didn't see this one coming either.
yeah, so
Anyway,
yeah, I don't, but I mean, but there's so many people that are in the same position you are that aren't even in this industry. It's, I posted on my Instagram stories that you and I were speaking about this tomorrow. And one of my connections who I've met, she's not even in this industry. And she was like, oh my gosh, I have to watch this show. She goes, it's so relevant right now because she's open to work as well. So it's just one of those things where, like Ashley said, 100% agree on being vulnerable and helping others find the strength in their own voices. So by you just sharing your story and sharing how, yeah, it was difficult and you had to grieve, and, having a positive mindset is not easy, and every day it's a struggle, but like
every day,
so many of us can relate. And I think at the end of the day, like when you say, what is it all for? It's for us to be able to help others and really like
right?
be of service to others. And I think like in this moment, that's what like this is it. Like what is happening right now organically.
Right. And
That's what's beautiful, you know?
I, to anyone who's still looking for work, there's nothing wrong. There's no shame in reaching out for help. But I will say, if someone reaches out to you for help them. Even if it's just because they need someone to talk to, it takes a lot of courage to ask for help, especially for those of us who are in senior level positions. And the expectation is, oh, I can just get another, SVP role really easy. No,
Mhm.
that's not the case. So for someone to reach out and ask for help, they have to eat some humble pie to make that happen, and they're reaching out to you because they trust you and they feel you might be able to help them through this difficult time they're in. Don't leave them hanging. Don't leave them on red. That's so infuriating, and it can really take the wind out of someone's sails when
Yeah.
you don't reciprocate, because you might be able to help them, and then they might be able to help you down the road. It's always that you help people because you want to be kind, not because you expect something in return. So a lot of the writing I'm doing now, I'm doing for free because I know not only does it keep me fresh, but it keeps me connected, and I know that it'll come back to me down the road at some point. And I'm laying the groundwork for potential paid opportunities down the road. So don't, if you have the ability to help someone, help them. Even if it's just, what, I don't have anything for you, but I know a guy at this other company, or whatever the case may be. We all have networking abilities. We all have connections in this business and elsewhere. Um, I'm talking to a guy next week in the cannabis industry. Like, I'm casting my net very, very far. So, uh, but he's someone who used to be in the mortgage industry. So, we all have to be there to help each other. And it's hard to stay positive when, people just don't reciprocate. So just be nice, be
Yeah. Well,
kind,
yeah, whatever
be
you can do. I
helpful.
mean, like, I know that, like, for me, this is my way of helping you. You reached out to me. You were like, "Hey, can I get on your show and just kind of put myself out there and remind people that I'm open to work?" And I was like, "Absolutely." You know what I mean? Like, this is what it's all about. And let's see what Amy said. Good advice, Leora. The best advice my dad ever gave me was to accept the help of others. He said that if people offer to help you, they are asking because they want to help. So it's okay to tell them what you need. Yeah, I love that.
Sure.
I think it's so
And
true because that's the thing too, is like I was that person where I never would ask for help, but I know that when I offer my help and people don't take it, I get offended. I'm like, but I'm offering you my help. So then I'm like, wait. Now I get to, if the tables are turned, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm upsetting that person by not asking for their help. So it changed my
right.
perspective too.
And I definitely received my fair share of unsolicited advice. And I just have to take those with a thank you so much. I really appreciate you reaching out. I've heard from everybody under the sun for every multi-level marketing opportunity out there. Um, no, I don't want to sell Tupperware. I don't want to sell Avon, which is still a thing apparently. And I don't want to sell life insurance. I have I do need a job, but I do have a line, and that has been crossed. So
Right.
there is,
Multi-level marketing.
yeah. And the other problem I'm having right now is I have to find a place to live because my lease is coming up due, and the market isn't, like, it's still very, like, rents are still very high right now. And I got more unsolicited advice. Well, if you can't afford it, just make more money. Wow, what a
Whoa.
novel idea. Make more
I wish
money. Let me get
that's
right on that. Like, that's the kind of advice you don't need. Just, keep it inside. If this is not going to be helpful, then just let it go. Just say, I am so sorry. If I find homes that fit your budget, I'll let you know. That would have been the appropriate thing to say, not go make more money. Okay. All right. So legal, illegal doesn't matter. Just make more money. Got it.
yeah.
Got it.
Oh my gosh, that's too crazy.
You know what? One of the things I do to stay positive is I laugh.
I was
I
gonna
make
say, you
fun
know
of,
what? We like sit here and we're laughing about it because you kind of like, yeah, that's sometimes you gotta just laugh. You know what I mean? Like it's
I
just,
mean, I make fun of myself a lot. My husband's like, why are you laughing? And I'm like, because it's funny.
yeah.
And he's like, well, as long as you're laughing. I'm like, exactly. That's all that matters.
Well, and it's amazing what laughter will do. Like just in this moment, laughing with you, like I feel great.
Yeah. Yeah. I have like a genuine smile and not one of those fake ones. So, so this
No,
is
but
how you stay positive. You reach out to your girls, and sometimes you
yeah.
just have some wine and you laugh and cry and do all the things. And then the next day you get up and you just get right back on that horse.
I mean, that's life. Like there was I was watching a documentary with my mom and it was the Buddhist and someone's like, "What is the meaning of life?" To this Buddhist and he was like, "To live it." Like that's
Yeah.
it. Like, just live it, live life. So I kind of try to focus on that too. Of like, I'm just living it and it might be good, bad at moments, but we're living through it. So
And that's why, so for a lot of people who know me know that I took a trip to Paris back in November, and this was a trip that was 5 years in the making and was the most amazing experience I've ever had in my life, and I'm not lying, I'm gonna move to Paris.
well, there
Somehow, some
you
way,
go. Well,
I as soon as my kid graduates from high school, I'm out. Peace. Um, but
well, there
as
you
soon
never
as
know.
I
You
got
might end up doing something in Paris with writing, with all that stuff. So, like, just put it out there. Put it out in the universe. You never know.
exactly, because as my father-in-law, who's one of the most amazing people on the planet, has told me, the universe tends to unfold as it should. And I'm trying not to feel guilty about going because as soon as I got back, my world fell apart. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have gone and saved the
No, no,
money. And
stop with that.
exactly. I know. So I had that brief moment. I know. But now, so I hold on to those moments because it really was a truly wonderful experience. But the people in Paris, they don't live like we do. They literally work their 8 hours, sometimes less, and then they live their lives. They're walking, they're at the park, they're drinking wine, eating all the great food, and just enjoying each other's company. It is a laissez-faire attitude, but in a good way.
Yeah.
They acknowledge, and it just seems to be that most of Europe is that way. They enjoy what this world has to offer, and not giving their soul to
Yeah.
an
No,
employer.
Gal can confirm. I can confirm because I've been to Paris as well. So we can all hear, like, validate what you are saying, Leora. But I just realized the time. So it's already
So,
31 minutes. Yeah. But let everyone know how they can reach you,
yeah.
connect with you, all of those amazing things.
You can find me on LinkedIn, Leora Ruzin, and you can follow me on Facebook if you want. If you want to follow me on TikTok, my TikToks are hilarious. They're all funny, all me being stupid or me torturing my cats. So you can just find my name on TikTok as well. And again, if anybody is interested in collaborating with me, reach out. I'm available.
Well, thanks again, Leora, for just always being so open and transparent.
Oh,
And
and as
so,
always, thank you for having me, and we will meet someday.
yes, we like that's so crazy stuff we met in person. But thank you, Amy, Ashley, Michelle, who jumped on, and anybody else who will jump on with the replay. And we'll all see you next Wednesday on Women.